Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Shred Show Live. You can see him already laughing. Brian Bergentz is joining me because we are a go. Ladies and gentlemen, Operation VA, go, go, go. And we have special guest, John Bell III, Deputy Director of Veterans Affairs. Ladies and gentlemen, we have some cool guests on the show, but I don't know how cool. I don't know if it gets any cooler than this. We got John Bell hanging out with us this morning. We're talking about myths. We're talking about things that you need to know when it comes to VA. Ladies and gentlemen, if you got questions, drop them below. We'll try to get to them, but we're going to try to answer everything when it comes to VA. Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready? Are you ready? It is time to shred. Ladies and gentlemen, I cannot tell you how excited. Every week we do Operation VA, and we have some absolutely phenomenal guests that join us. And me and Brian have been very, very blessed. I'm very, very fortunate to have some great people joining us. But we literally have somebody within the veterans, within the Department of Veteran Affairs joining us. Not only just somebody, but this is freaking Deputy Director John Bell III hanging out with us this afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. So, John, welcome to the Shred Show.
Thanks, Josh. Thank you so much. I love anytime I have an opportunity to talk about this program, talk about veterans and how they are affected. So let's get into this.
As I say, let's dive right in. For those who don't know, typically, I mean, you've got this incredible. I have your bio. We could go into so many accolades and talk about you, but like you said, let's dive into this. Why you actually made this transition into this private sector? Why did you come and why did you say, hey, you know what? I'm going to give back to our veterans. I want to serve our veterans. Why did you make that decision? What switched for you that you said, hey, I'm going to go do this?
You know, after years of being in the private sector and kind of seeing how this program was run, which was wonderful. I mean, the people at VA, you can't meet any more passionate people on trying to help veterans. But in the mid 2000s, if you go back to that time frame, I think that people, if you really want to look deep, you have to say that this program was kind of that last resort for veterans that couldn't go anywhere else. And with that, of course, there were veterans that were taking advantage of the program for other reasons as well, but not at the level that we see now. And so my goal when I came on board was, put up or shut up. At some point in time, you've got to be part of the solution instead of part of the problem. I had an opportunity to be able to do that, to affect change, and I decided that it was my time to serve. So I raised that hand, came on board, and it's been exciting ever since.
That's awesome. And you really have. You've dedicated, for those who don't know, how long have you actually been with the Department of Veteran Affairs now?
I came in at 2010, so a long time, 11 years now.
And 11 years, like I said, you're still going strong. And prior to that, you were actually in the U.S. Navy, correct?
I was. Prior to that, before my private sector experience. But yeah, I am a veteran. Served in Somalia,
Wow.
In a couple other places. It was a true joy and a chance of a lifetime to be able to come and give back to this program.
That's phenomenal. First and foremost, thank you so much. As we've told Brian so many times, thank you for your service, for protecting our country, protecting our rights and our freedoms. So let's dive more into this. Brian, I know you got some questions in particular that we want to dive into. And ladies and gentlemen, if you're joining us, like I said, we've got John here. We will field some questions if you have them. So go ahead and shoot those over to us. But Brian, go ahead.
Yeah, so John, so you've been with VA for about 11 years, and I know that the landscape since you got there and to what it is today has changed. I know you made a lot of changes with the way the RLCs operate. Please tell everybody all the great things that you've done over the last couple of years to really make the experience better for not only the lender, but the veteran as well.
First thing that I want to get out there is you always look at what type of problem is a veteran going to face? What type of problem is our industry going to face? And how do we meet that? So we looked at the way we were structured, at 8 different regional loan centers. They operated 8 different ways. They reported up through the geographic structure in which they were part of. And we looked at that and said, you know what, there are 5 layers of approval. If something happens, that something goes awry, that a veteran would have to go through, or an issue would have to rise up. And we've got to change that. So we removed 5 layers. So now if something happens, I can get the assistant director over loan policy, the assistant director over loan production, in a room together with the assistant director over technology. I can fix that change, overnight. So the way that we are able to meet at the speed that our industry needs has been a huge benefit for us. And I think what I hear, from realtors, from lenders, is that they see that change each and every day, and that's one reason why you see the growth of the program, so much here recently.
Wow. Well, that's a lot. And so this is a good segue, because one of the challenges, or one of the myths that we always hear out on the street, and Josh can attest to this, is, that's no secret right now that while vets are winning, don't get me wrong, military and veterans are winning in a lot of markets, but that there's some pockets where, unfortunately, our military and veterans are not winning. And it's because of the unconscious bias or just misunderstanding of how VA works. And you have this VA versus conventional tug of war going on, where you have a lot of realtor, a lot of real estate professionals preferring clients would use that over VA because of faster turn times, appraisals, etc. What do you say about that?
Hey, let's just look at the numbers, right? Those that know me, I'm a data guy. I look at data first, and I look at data every day. If you look at last year was a record year for the VA home loan program, where we closed over 1.2 million loans.
Wow.
We had a purchase record, as well. This year, just in purchase volume, we're 6% above that right now.
Oh.
So we're 6% above, and we are in August of where our volume was last year. And total loans, we've already surpassed last year's volume, and we're 24% in total volume above where we were last year. So we're at 1.288 as of this morning. We'll be a little above 1.32 tomorrow million. When I get up in the morning and see my report. And then we are right at 380,000 purchase loans for the year. So I 100% hear, and I care about every veteran that comes across my desk. But the thing you can't argue is we've closed together 380,000 veterans have gotten into homes, have purchased a home this year. 380,000. Wow. So we're going to have a new purchase record again.
That's amazing to me to think about that. 380,000 of the men and women who have served our country so valiantly, they are utilizing those benefits. And something that we were talking about going into this show is, what is the market share of VA? What does that actually look like when it comes to conventional and other types of loans? What percentage does that actually equate to? You mentioned being a data guy, being a numbers guy. What does that look like, John?
Last year for the first time we surpassed FHA in total volume for Ginnie in the Ginnie pools.
Wow.
So in saying that, when I came in, let's just be relative. In 2010, when I came in, we were a little bit less than 1% of market share of total mortgages. We're around 11%, 12% at this point.
Whoa.
So volume in that time has risen almost 650%. So we're ecstatic. And look, this isn't VA. We've made changes to make the program more efficient, but for our lenders, our veterans, our realtors out there, our appraisers, it's all a village, right? It takes a village to make this thing work. And so that's the exciting thing for me. Veterans, their ability to pay, their ability to to pay their bills, their ability to save, the reserves, the assets that they have, their credit scores, the credit score requirements that they meet. Even though we don't have a credit score requirement for VA, we know that lenders do from a risk standpoint. But all that doesn't matter, because the risk profile for a veteran is actually pretty much hand in hand with conventional now anyway. So, kudos to our veterans. If our realtors don't realize that, then we've still got a big job ahead of us to get the word out. So thank you very much, Josh, for things like, for programs like this, because messaging is everything. Communication is everything. We got to keep talking. We got to keep sending the message that this program is here to stay. This program is running at a very efficient pace, and we can still do more.
Go ahead, Ryan.
No, I got one last question for Mr. Bell. And it's always the elephant in the room, no matter when you travel, speak to realtors, mortgage professionals, whatever, especially realtors. So within the real estate community.
Wait, by the way, can we say, I don't know what these questions are in advance. So
yeah.
I would never, ever, under any circumstances, as long as you and I have known each other, would ever give you the questions in advance.
Exactly.
You should know that already. That's what makes it so much fun. That's why I enjoy doing it. The big bad VA appraisal.
Mm-hmm.
So for those new folks coming in, right? We got new mortgage professionals coming in every day. You got new realtors coming in every day. What advice or what feedback can you give them about the VA appraisal, why it's the best in the game and why they shouldn't be scared of it, and why, whatever they hear about it being a horrible thing, it couldn't be further from the truth?
I'll give you two examples that no other program in the country does. Is one, Tidewater. So what Tidewater is basically, if an appraisal is not going to come in at sales price, the appraiser will give a heads up that it's not coming in for sales price. If the other one is reconsideration of value. And so if appraisal does come in lower or higher than what you thought, and you want to challenge that appraisal, we allow you to do that. And VA will actually look at that appraisal and talk with the appraiser and determine whether or not the value is accurate. I am not aware of any other programs in the country that do that for their clients. So those two things alone should make you feel comfortable. But aside from that, really the only thing that sets apart VA from conventional in the appraisal space is the ensuring that there's not exposed wiring in the home, there's not a hole in the roof, there's not major things that our veterans are going to have to face when they put this money down, when they take advantage of this benefit program, that they're not going to be saddled with all of these other issues that are, that arise, that they're going to have to take care of once they move in. So there is what we call minimum property requirement, that appraisers look for. But appraisers aren't home inspectors, right? And we always tell our veteran clients to look to a home inspector to tell them those things. What appraisers look for are obvious issues and concerns that they see in the property. So if you're scared about the appraisal, you shouldn't be, because there are protections in place that protect you, that protect the veteran, and protect the lender. That not any other program has.
Those are all really good points, John. And appraisals, these across the board in the mortgage industry, are always one of those things. But I know I'm really glad you hit on some of these points, in particular about the VA appraisal. And I agree with Brian. And from what you said, John, it's there to protect the veteran. It's there to protect the lender. It's there to protect everybody involved. Thus, why the certain parameters and guidelines and procedures are put in place. It needs to be done the way it has been, because ultimately, it's a protection for all of us. So I appreciate you clarifying that. And I know we only have a couple more minutes here, so we start to wrap things up. You mentioned something just a second ago, John, that I think is so critical. And seeing the growth that you have, and it really is due to you, your team, and everybody who is dedicated to helping, get the word out there, helping our veterans, getting it more known, having these types of conversations. But what more can we be doing as a mortgage industry, as a mortgage community, as a real estate community? What can we be doing to make sure those veterans out there are able to take advantage, be able to use those VA opportunities, use those VA loan benefits?
Communicate, ask questions. If there are, don't succumb to perceptions, right? Use data. If you don't know, then ask someone, because I promise you there are tons of lenders out there that specialize in this program and can answer your questions. There are tons of realtors and real estate agents out there that do a lot of business for VA. If you're unsure, then ask the question. I will say one part before we go.
Yeah.
VA wants to make sure, and you're going to see us in this space a lot over the next few years, is that the appraisal space, the VA space, is a safe space for all veterans. All veterans should be able to take advantage of this program and this benefit. It doesn't matter where you live. It doesn't matter race, creed, color. None of that should matter. So from an objectivity standpoint, we are looking at all of our processes across the board, including decisions investors make on utilizing the program. Why, looking at profitability, all of those type of things factor in, and doing the right thing at the right time. And so I think that all of us are involved in that change. And if you're really serious about progressing this benefit, you'll be serious about that as well.
Oh, that is such a great way to end. That's like a little mic drop. Me and Brian at the same time. You have to get educated. You have to be willing to ask the questions. All you mortgage professionals, all you real estate professionals out there, be willing to eat a piece of humble pie and willing to ask the questions. You are serving these veterans. These veterans have served us. They've protected our rights, our liberties, and our freedoms. And it is our job as mortgage and real estate professionals to have the up-to-date, the correct data and information like John is talking about, so we can ultimately help those veterans get into an absolutely awesome home. So John Bell, the third, ladies and gentlemen, joining us. So thank you so much for joining us, John. Brian, always continuing to line up phenomenal guests for all of you, ladies and gentlemen. That's why we do this show every single week. Operation VA is here for you, for our veterans, and we're going to continue to do it, as John said. With that, ladies and gentlemen, again, huge shout out to John and Brian for joining us on this show. And you're going to see you guys next week with another special guest. With that, as always, we appreciate you. We love you. Now it's time for all of you to go shred, go show up, hustle, repeat every day. See ya.